today's podcast, Sunday, November 26, 2023. Appreciate everyone joining us today. We just did the PFL recap. We also did the Ian Gary recap in the first episode of today's podcast, Marcel. Now it's time to turn our attention to UFC Austin. Dariush versus Tsarukyan. I think it's a really good card. We did lose a fight, though, this weekend. A fight I was looking forward to a lot. Khalil Roundtree and Azamat Mirzakhanov. What happened there? Mirzakhanov got injured, or
I think he had what do you say that?
Pneumonia? Yeah. That's not good. I don't think that's good. Yeah.
How do you say that again?
Pneumonia. I think the P is silent, right? It's weird. Okay. English is a weird fucking language, man.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. Okay. Well, that's too bad because I actually thought that was a good fight. I was going to pick Khalil Roundtree as a dog in that one. He was like plus 200. I did like him a little bit. Who were you going to win in that fight?
Oh, like definitely Mirzakhanov. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Khalil's look good. Anyways, we're not going to see it, so we don't know what's going to happen. Khalil's fighting Anthony Smith this week. All right, let's get into UFC Austin, Marcel. Let's start with the first fight of the night and work our way up, as we always do. The odds, courtesy of DraftKings, the bout order, courtesy of UFC Stats. All right, Marcel, let's get into this card. First fight of – actually, before I get into it, I'll just ask your thoughts. What's your overall thoughts on the card before we get into each fight?
Yeah, it's a good card. By the way, do we call this the oddcast from now on because the P is silent? Yeah, I think it's yeah. I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, I think it's a fun card. I mean, it's a really strong fight. Now, it's also an ESPN card, so I was thinking maybe this would be an ABC card, which is not. It's just an ESPN card. But yeah, it's not an ESPN Plus card, so they stacked it a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, there are good fights on this card. I mean, Rob Font against Davison Figueiredo, that would be easily a main event or a co-main event on an Apex card, you know, and here it's not even like co or main event. You got, for example, I know, listen, man, Miesha Tate is not Miesha Tate from like a couple of years ago, but she's still like the former champion and she's on the prelims. So it's a pretty stacked card, I think, you know.
I think it's a great card. All right, let's get into it. We'll start with the first fight, guys. Oh, let's get some comments here. We got Joe. We got the DXJC56. What does that even stand for, man? We got to know. Jamie Gidley. What's up, Jamie? How's it going, man? And we got Octagon updates. We'll probably get some more people trickling in. Our boy Glenn probably isn't here. Short notice Sunday morning, but
Glenn, yeah, I also miss Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus too. But those guys can listen to the.
There's John.
John's here? Oh, awesome. And John, again, we still think it's you in the chat. You're lying to us, right? It's got to be him. I think it's him. I think he's lying to us. It's got to be him in the Discord because the guy's picture looks like your picture on Twitter, and it's John V. Like, if that's not you, then who the hell is that guy? Who's that imposter, Marcel?
Imposter, yeah.
What's up, Daniel? And Pato, yeah, that fight was going to be good. I thought that was one of the best fights of the card. Okay, there we go. DX, John C. Oh, God, this guy's a big wrestling guy. I know CM Punk came back to WWE last night. It's funny. Yeah, all right, let's get into it, Marcel. Start with the first fight of the night. Veronica Hardy versus Jamey-Lyn Horth. Odds are really close on this one. Minus 115, Jamey-Lyn Horth. Veronica Hardy, minus 105. I'll let you start on this one. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I'll let you start on this one because it's a very hard one. I have my thoughts, but
taking the Canadian. I like the Canadian here, Jamey-Lyn Horth. I think she wins. I think she's good value here at minus 115. The line is going down. I'm taking a shot on her, guys, because I think she's the better fighter, honestly. Veronica Hardy, I know she had a great performance against Julianne Miller, but I think especially after Miller's last fight with Santos, she's just not UFC cal. She's not like who I thought she was. I thought she was actually a pretty good prospect. Man, she's like so flawed as a fighter. It was a good performance by Hardy, but overall, I mean, she's still 2-4. And she was on, I know, Ariel's show. I saw the clip, and he's like asking her, like, do you think you'll fight like for the belt one day? And she's like, dude, I'm 2-4 in the UFC. Like, I'm not even thinking about that. Like, there's a lot to like about her, honestly. You know, she has more experience in the UFC. Dan Hardy's her head coach. It's her husband. She does have a few, notable wins, I guess. Like Poliana Vienna is a nice win.
One is a big win.
Yeah, it's a nice win, and I guess that would be her only notable. I mean, Miller, I guess, too, ultimate fighter. But again, I just haven't been super impressed with her overall in the UFC. I think she's beatable, and she's hittable, and she can be taken down. Like she has a negative striking differential of over 1, 3.35 to 4.38. That's not good. And then the takedown defense is 55. So for her to win, I think she'd have to take down Horth. And she does have decent takedowns. Like I'll give her that. Especially the last fight was very impressive. But again, I'm still not convinced. And then with Jamey-Lyn Horth, I mean, I thought that was a good debut for her. Right, 6-0 now in MMA, and that was a good debut for her. Obviously, before that, she had fought for LFA. She fought for BFL. So yeah, it's a decent experience. TKO as well. She fought on one of Cyril Gaunt's cards. slowly been working her way up the regional scene in Canada, and then gets a call to the UFC, gets a call to LFA, and then to the UFC. You know, someone that doesn't fight that often, really been strategic with her fights over the years. And I think she's a pretty good prospect. The problem I have with her, she's 33, so I don't think like she'll be fighting for the belt. So I think she's a little bit, you know, by the time she's ready to, like, if she has like a long win streak, she'll probably be like 35, 36. So I just don't see that happening. But I still think she beats girls like Hardy. They're just average fighters. This is someone that's decent. Like, again, she actually has 2 wins over Lupi Godinez as an amateur too. So someone that's never lost, someone that is a winning pedigree, and someone that I think is a decent prospect. So I'm going with Jamey-Lyn Horth, guys. I like her at -115. I think it's good odds. There's my thoughts. I think she wins the decision. What do you think, man?
Yeah, man. The thing is, like with recency bias, it got me really like considering what maybe Hardy is getting better, you know. But at the same time, you shouldn't let recency bias get to you, you know. And if you look at Jamey-Lyn Horth, I don't think it was an amazing debut, to be honest, man. Against what's her name again? The
Haley
blonde
Cowan.
girl. Haley Cowan. Yeah.
All hail Cowan.
Yeah, Haley Cowan wasn't a great debut, but she got it done, you know. Before that, she looked good in LFA. I also take her, but I'm not as confident as you were. Still going with a decision, but I take her as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, women's MMA, it's probably going to the scorecard, so there's some risk there. But like again, at pick 'em price, I'll take a shot on her. I think she wins. Horth by decision. That's what I like. Was Hardy getting better? Or was Miller awful? I think the second. But you know, Hardy's definitely getting better. There's no doubt about that. It's just I don't know. It's going to be good enough to win. I'm not going to read this comment out loud. That's just really funny, though. I'll say that. That's a funny one. And here's a question from Bellator. Mike Hogan's like one of their like matchmakers, right? Isn't he?
Yeah.
He used to be like a manager for a lot of guys. I don't know if he's doing that anymore. Go to the next fight here, guys. We got Wellington Turman taking on Jared Gooden in the UFC welterweight division. And odds for this one have Turman -200, +165 on Jared Gooden. I'm leaning Turman in this fight a little bit, Marcel. The experience, I think does have the better ground game if he gets there. The striking is like improving a little bit. He was pretty chinny early on in his career. He's kind of turned that around. He's been more durable. But again, I think the ground game is really where he's going to shine in this fight. Because if he does stay on the feet, he could get knocked out. It's possible. Gooden's obviously got power. Gooden's got a reach advantage. But Gooden 1-4 in the UFC. I don't like guys with those kind of records. It just makes me feel like he's not really UFC caliber. And again, look at with him. You talk about negative striking differential, guys. 4.73 to 6.76. That is just not good. And I understand, Turman, how many strikes is he landing? Well, he's landing 3. And he also has a negative differential, 3.04 to 3.87. So again, a lot of flawed fighters coming in. I think all 4 fighters we talk about have a negative striking differential so far. So it's not good. But again, what I see the difference in this fight is the ground game, right? Because if this fight goes to the ground, I think Turman wins all day. The risk is if it stays standing, he get knocked out. Don't think I would bet on him at -200 personally. It's not the kind of guy I'd want to lay juice on, but I think Turman wins a decision maybe. What are you thinking?
I think Turman should bulk up so we can call him Beefy Wellington Turman. He's like, how should I say it? He's not a bad fighter, but also not great. I think he trains with Glover, with Alex Pereira, with Rodrigo Bellato, or Rodolfo Bellato. It's like a weird fight to me, because I think Gooden can knock him out, but at the same time, I have more confidence to pick Turman here. I'm with you there, actually, man. I think I pick Turman. I think it goes all 3 rounds. I think I pick him with a decision, but I don't think it will be a great fight, to be really honest, man.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. All right, let's go to the next fight. We got light heavyweights. Rodolfo Bellato taking on Ihor Potieria. Kind of a funny name. We got Shogun's, the guy who retired Shogun against Bellato. Anytime I write this guy's name, it keeps going to Bellator, like it gets auto-corrected to Bellator. So
Same.
I did double check. I didn't do that. Anyways, he's I think the biggest trader in the card. He's -450. Potieria +350. Like I'm obviously going to take Bellato. I know you are too. Like we obviously have to pick this guy because he's like a beast. He's got power and everything. But like at the same time, like fuck that. Laying -450 on this guy, no way. Like I wouldn't do it. Light heavyweight. Ihor does have power. We've seen him get a knockout in the UFC. He had that knockout in Contender. I think he gets knocked out. This fight's not going very long. I think it probably ends in the first round. If I had to guess.
First round, yeah.
Yeah. I'm taking Bellato by knockout, Marcel. But honestly, like, I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't bet the minus 450. I don't think he's a safe parlay piece in it by any means. You know, it's light heavyweight. Both guys have knockout power. Both guys have been knocked out. We saw Bellato get knocked out by Petrino, and I know Petrino's really fucking good, but you know, it's not like he's invincible. So Bellato by knockout is my pick, but I wouldn't lay minus 450 on this dude. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I take Bellato in the first round by knockout or TKO. I don't really have trust in Potieria, you know, to be really honest. I know he won against Shogun, but he looked bad against Alberg, and we both pretty much thought that would happen as well. So
I mean, how much can you really take away for a win over Shogun, like in this time of his career, right? Like, obviously, it was a good win for him, but you know, overall, he'd be the guy that's, you know, he's retired now, so it's really not that impressive. All right, for the next fight here, we got Steve Garcia taking on Melquizael Costa. Odds for this one, minus 230 on. Pardon?
Interesting fight.
Yeah, Costa minus plus 190. I'll let you start then because you like it. So give me your thoughts.
Yeah, man. I always like Melquizael Costa. You know, he was always on my radar, and it's not because I thought he was an amazing fighter, but because of his how do you say that vitiligo, right? So he was really jumping out of other fighters when you saw him fight, and I always thought he was pretty decent. You know, he came to the UFC after his LFA win on short notice for Thiago Moises. He didn't do bad in the fight, but he got finished. But I think he really looked good, man, against Austin Lingo last time. You know, I think he showed that the qualities he has. You know, and if you look at Steve Garcia, he's on 2-fight win streak. Looked good against Chase Hooper. Looked like a world beater pretty much against him. Then beat Jamey-Lyn, which was a good win. Only lost twice in the UFC, and one very bad loss by knockout against Miesha. I think it will be a fun fight, but I think Melquizael might be better on the ground, man. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's how I think. I'm going with Costa here. I think he wins the decision. Yeah.
All right, you know what, man? I'm with you. I think he wins. I was so impressed by his fight with Austin Lingo. Like, that dude's a tough dude, by the way, for not getting finished. I was just beyond impressed. I'm like, holy shit! Like, this guy's a great striker. He has some decent takedown ability too. I think he's super legit, man. I think he's really good. And you know, in his debut, lost to Moises, and looking back, like, Moises, I don't think Moises is that great. But again, it was at lightweight. It was up in weight, and you know, down at featherweight, I like him better. And Garcia, a guy that's really inconsistent. You know, like, I know he's got a lot of power. I mean, obviously we've seen that lately, but a guy that's beatable, a guy that's inconsistent, in my opinion, and a guy that, you know, has been around a long time, and I think he's beatable too. So I know both guys actually have been around quite a long time. Anyways, I like Melquizael, Marcel. Melk Coffee. What does that stand for?
I have no idea.
What does that mean? Hold on, let's see here. I guess it's just a short form for his name, like his actual name. What decision you're thinking, or
I'm picking him by decision.
Yeah, me too. That's what I'm picking too. But I think he could knock out Garcia too. I think it's possible. I would definitely take a look at that as well. You know, like Miesha knocked out Costa, so
I'm kind of surprised we're on the same page in this one, man.
Really, I actually like him quite a bit here, to be honest with you.
Nice.
Yeah, like, again, to be fair, I haven't been amazing at picking Garcia's fights. You know, to be fair, but I still think, you know, a guy that got dropped twice by Charlie Tavares, twice by Miesha, they don't trust him at all.
You mean Simon Sobab?
Yeah. We got Drakkar Klose against Joe Solecki at lightweight. Odds for this one also close, minus 130 Klose, plus 110 Solecki. I like Klose in this fight. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one. What,
Me too.
There we go. I mean, my thought initially was just like, yeah, I think he wins, and the line is like really like tight. I think it's gone down, right? It opened at, it's been tight for a while, but yeah, I mean, it went up for a bit, now it's coming back down. I just think Klose will be able to sprawl and brawl here. I think this is a great fight for him to sprawl and brawl. Solecki is like a pure grappler. His striking's pretty bad, I think. You know, I know Klose's takedown defense is not amazing. It's 69%. Nice, but you know, it's not amazing, but it's good enough, I think. Like, for instance, his last fight last year against Rafa Garcia, he did enough to keep the fight standing for long enough where he was able to outstrike his opponent and win. I think that's how this fight looks. Like Joe might get a takedown here and there, but I don't think he'll be able to hold down Klose. Klose gets up, Klose the better boxer, better kickboxer, better striker. And I think he wins this fight. I like him here. Minus 130, I like those odds. For Solecki to win, he'll have to grapple him. And I just don't think he'll be able to get him down consistently enough. And again, on the feet, I think Klose is just a much better striker. So I like Klose here. Marcel, I know he's a little bit older, but I still think he gets the job done. And I know you like him too, right? So there you go.
Klose underrated, man. I think many people always overlooking him. I also see he lost 2 fights in the UFC. Lost
7-2 in the UFC. Sorry to cut you off, but 7-2. Great record. Really good.
Yeah, and his losses to David Taymur, who was on a good streak back then, and against Beneil Dariush, who he also almost finished, but Beneil came back and he knocked him out.
Yeah,
I mean, dude is good. You know, I always felt like he was underrated. So, and also for Joe Solecki. Joe Solecki also has a pretty good record in the
5-1. I'm looking at that right now. It's actually really good. Better than I thought.
Decision loss to Gordon, right? So
that was a close fight. It could be 6-0. It could be.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a fun fight on the prelims. It's pretty much buried in the prelims, but it's a fun fight. I think. I favor Klose a little bit more, you know, so I'm picking Drakkar Klose, like I said. So yeah,
I think the line's like really good here for him. If you like him, then he's a good bet. I think at minus 130, close one. I think you'll win. Yeah, maybe 29-28. Maybe like the first round, Solecki will get him down and maybe grind it out. You're kind of like, oh shit, but I think Klose is going to sprawl brawl his way to a win here, guys. Personally, Otto, you like Solecki? I mean, he's a good grappler again, but I just think Klose's wrestling, his anti-wrestling will be enough in this fight. I know, again, 69% is not great takedown defense, and if you look at his stats, he gets taken down a lot of his fights, but he has been fighting pretty good grapplers throughout his career, to be fair. Like, Klose has actually fought a lot of wrestlers and guys with good takedowns, and his takedown defense is held up enough to win. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We have this fight, another one of these big favorites here. We got Zach Reese taking on Cody Brundage in the UFC middleweight division. And right now, Zach Reese is minus 230, plus 195 on Cody Brundage. I like Zach Reese in this fight. I can't pick Cody Brundage. There's no way. I just don't think Cody's that good. So beatable. I mean, he was on his way to a loss in the last fight before he got the DQ. And I don't blame him for that. Like his opponent, Malkoun, with those back of the head elbows. And again, if your like career's on the line, you're going to take that DQ every time. But I think this is it for him. I think he's going to lose, get cut, and the UFC's not going to invite him back. I think Reese finishes him. Zach Reese inside the distance. I'm thinking submission. I think a submission is possible. I also think a knockout is possible. I'm definitely going to take the guy that's undefeated. But again, I will say this: like his level of competition is not very good. So that's the only hesitancy I have. It's because he really hasn't fought anyone that great. But I just can't pick Brundage, man. Reese, bigger guy, longer guy. We haven't seen him lose before, whereas we see Brundage lose all the time. Zach Reese inside the distance. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel that, but what happens when it goes out of the first round? Because Zach Reese has never been outside the first round in his professional career, I should say. So,
yep.
If he can finish him, it will probably in the first round, right? But after that, it's like a big, we don't know, And Cody Brundage, listen, Cody hasn't looked good lately, let's be honest. The Malkoun fight wasn't good. The Dumas fight was probably even worse. And the fight before, he actually didn't look bad against Vieira, man, in the first round. He almost finished him. But he made a mistake by going to the ground. And in the second round, Vieira finished him there. So, honestly, I think it's a lot closer, actually, than the odds are, But I understand that Reese is the favorite. Yeah, most smart pick probably going Reese by finish in the first round, and that's the way I would lean. But I wouldn't be surprised, dude, if Brundage gets a late finish or wins a decision, because I don't know how Reese looks in second and third rounds. I know he went to a third round once, I think against Holland, in this amateur, and he lost that one. I think he won another fight in his amateur career in round 2, but he never went to a third round in his professional career, not even in the second round, So, and normally at an amateur level, the rounds are 3 minutes and not 5, right? Yep. So that's tough, I mean, we shouldn't underestimate that. We've seen before many times that fighters had almost first round finishes that were undefeated, and then going into the second round, they were fucked. I mean, I think Abdul Razak Al Hassan is a good example. When he came into the UFC, had all first round finishes, I think, and then Omari Akhmedov got him out of the first round, and he was gassing in the second and third round. He lost that by split decision, that fight. So we shouldn't be sure, I think, but I understand that most people will go with Reese. I would do as well in the first round, but everything outside the first round is like question mark for me, man, to be really honest.
Yeah, for sure. What was I gonna say? Yeah, the Kevin Holland fight. I was looking at that the other day. He was 18, and that was his amateur debut. And again, Holland turned out to be pretty fucking good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, not a bad loss. I want to get this comment from our guy.
What's up, Mike?
Mike said, Maypix, hope you guys are having a great Sunday. Continue the great work, gentlemen. Likewise, my brother. Hope you're doing well as well, Mike. I'd like to know what's Mike's got the fridge. He has a fridge. He pins his best fights on, the ones he's looking to bet on. So, wondering what you pinned on there recently, Mike.
Also, guys, follow Mike on Twitter or X. One of the nicest guy out of there, and always fun to interact with. So, if you want to have a good guy to follow Mike as well.
There you go. All right, let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. Back to UFC Austin, and we got Julia Avila taking on Miesha Tate. It's a prelim fight. Marcel's thinking it might be elevated to main card because we lost.
Personally, I would elevate Klose against Solecki, but I think the UFC with name value, and Miesha Tate is in the promo, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
I would think they would if they do a fight putting up on the main card, it's probably this one. Plus, there is not a women fight on the main card, so normally they always do. So I would think so, but with the Thanksgiving weekend, the UFC is pretty much doing nothing. I know Dana announced some fights, but nothing is put out, and it's just like that song against Gutierrez card, man. They're like, here's the full card. You go to the website, you see one fucking fight, so.
And that's why they didn't have a card this weekend, I guess I should say, because it was Thanksgiving. No, for sure. Now it was clued in. Obviously, we celebrated Thanksgiving last month in Canada, so I don't know about you guys. Do you have Thanksgiving?
No, we don't have that over here, man. But the funny thing is, like, Thanksgiving is related to Black Friday, right? So
kind of. The Black Friday is like the shopping holiday, basically.
Yeah. But they have that here as well. But why do we have Black Friday? It's just how do you say that? It's just a reason for the stores to act like they have huge discounts, but while they put the prices up before they give the discount.
I saw that video on Twitter too. I saw that. That's funny. Yeah. Anyways, let's get back to the card. We got, like I said, Miesha Tate versus Julia Avila. Odds on this one: Avila minus 160, plus 135 on Miesha Tate. I actually want to hear your thoughts on this one first. I have a lean in this fight. I want to hear what you think. What do you think?
Yeah, this is a horrible fight to pick, to be really honest, man, because I think Miesha Tate is still on a huge decline, Mm-hmm. But at the same time, Julia Avila, her last fight was in 2021. It was against Julia Stoliarenko. Stoliarenko is at 125 now, where she belongs, apparently, and not at 135. Before that, she lost to Sajara Eubanks, and she got a win over Mazzani. I mean, what should I look at? You know what I mean? I mean, Julia also comes back from giving birth to her kid, I think. I know Miesha has 2 children, I think, but she's already back for a couple of months, or even year, I think, more than a year. This can go. This is a typical women fight that can go either way, man. That can go to a split decision, a unanimous decision. It's like a 50-50 fight to me. I would think I go with Miesha by decision, but still, I'm not sure. I think Julia can win the fight as well. This is a typical fight. Like, I would never, ever bet on this fight. Never.
I agree with you, but at the same time, I'm also picking the dog here. So we do have a consensus dog. It's just not like a confident one, right? Because Miesha just looked so bad against Lauren Murphy. That being said, it was over a year ago, right? So she's had time to recover, I guess. And the fight against Caitlin Vera, you know what? Yeah, she lost that fight. Her face got marked up, but she landed a lot of strikes in that fight too. And of course, against Renault looked amazing. So I just don't know where she is right now. And then with Avila, her first fight in 2.5 years, she also gave birth. She's coming back after giving birth. She barely fights. If you look at her Tapology, it's like there's so many canceled fights. It's crazy. Not all of them her fault by any means. A lot of her opponent pullouts, weight misses, whatever. But if you look at her thing, she only has 4 UFC fights and 12 pullouts or something. Not just her pulling out her opponents as well. Go ahead.
The funny thing, I think only one of those is where she pulled out. All the others is where
the last fight with Pennington. The other ones are all it's bad luck. I agree with that. I'm just saying she doesn't fight that often. So I don't know how good she really is. Like, she's looked pretty good in the UFC. She's a finisher. You know, she looked good in Invicta back in the day, but I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about her coming off such a long layoff, giving birth, and same with Tate when she did. You know, we weren't sure, and she looked great, and then she's declined since then. But you know, I don't think losing to Vieira and Murphy's like the worst look. You know, those are both pretty good fighters, and in this fight, she's moving back up to bantamweight. You know, I think that cut to flyweight was really tough on her. I think she'll look better. I would assume at bantamweight again. Yeah, Miesha Tate by decision, man. I mean, again, I'm with you. Like, I wouldn't want to bet on this fight because I'm not like super confident, guys. But like, I favor her a little bit, and I know based on like the value and based on betting theory, you know, we should be putting some money on her. It's just I don't want to bet in every fight. There's other spots I like better. You know, I already talked about some of the other ones, so it's not a spot I love. I just think she should be slightly favored. Like, I would have put this. I think Miesha should be like minus 130 and then plus 110 at Avila. That's the way I line it. So, you know, you're getting a little bit of value. It's just hard to really be confident in someone that hasn't looked very good in a while. That's what I'm saying. But I do think, yeah, she's going to look better, I think, at her natural weight again. Do you think, what's up, Joseph? Do you see Miesha announcing retirement? If she loses, yeah. But I think she can win this one. Actually, I think I could see either of the fighters who lose retire. You know, I'm just not sure where Avila is at right now. You know, so long away. Again, has a little kid now. It could make her like super Julia Avila, and she could be like super mom out there, or you know, she could show the signs of a long layoff. I don't really know. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. Mm-hmm. No, we can't trust Miesha. That's the problem. But we both like her. You like her. I think she should be favored slightly. Like, again, the level of competition over the years, and just the overall grappling, I would favor that. But again, the amount of damage, the layoffs, like everything, it's really tough to pick her. By the way, I was gonna ask you, do you remember when she used to be Miesha Takedown Tate, like way back in the day?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Before Cupcake. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We got Clay Guida taking on Joaquim Silva. This is the prelim main event, I believe, and odds for this one, Beto BJJ is minus 310, and the Carpenter plus 250. What's your thoughts on this one? Like, so Silva's a big favorite here. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, Clay Guida's always game, you know, but yeah, I mean, Joaquim Silva is a guy who is like, he's pretty chinny, let's be honest. He's kind of chinny, but at the same time, I don't see Guida putting him away, to be really honest, man. Do you? I mean, I favor Silva here. It's
a little tricky, I think, you know, personally. Do you have anything else to add, or should I jump in?
Yeah, you can jump in for sure.
Like, it's just tough to pick Clay because he's 41, right? That's the real problem here. Is he's 8 years older, right? And he has, you know, been really consistent. But like, I don't know how you trust Silva at minus 310. Like, I just don't think you can. With the 3 knockout losses last 4 fights, the problem is, like, when does Clay Guida knock someone out last? Right? Was it Joe Lozon 6 years ago? He's not a knockout guy. If he was a knockout guy, I'd pick him at those odds, right? But he's not. That's the problem I have. And then the other thing is, like, this guy's nickname is Neto BJJ. We don't really see him go to the ground that much, but like, he does have BJJ, and Clay's been submitted so many times. Like, I don't trust Clay in the ground either. So I don't know, because I do. There's part of me that thinks Clay could still grind it out. I still think it's possible. So that's why I would pass. I wouldn't bet minus 310 on Joaquim Silva. That's crazy. You know, this guy should never be favored by that much. At the same time, though, like, I don't know if I could pick Clay because the age, super inconsistent. I can't play Clay Guida. I can't do it. I thought about it, but I can't, you know. Joaquim Silva I'll take him. I guess I'll take him by submission because Clay always gets submitted. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. But I don't know, man. I'm just staying away from this one. What do you think, though?
I'm picking Joaquim Silva, and I think he finishes Clay via TKO.
By knockout, eh? Okay, yeah. That's interesting. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't like the odds in this one either. Like, him, Bellato, Reese, like, these guys are landmines waiting to happen. Like, one of those guys will lose, I think. One of those big favorites. You know, I'd stick to the lower favorites on this card personally, although there's a few guys coming up that I like as well. Get some comments. Oh, you're talking about Tate. Yeah, no, she doesn't like getting hit. By the way, thanks, Fight Talk, for the artwork again, my brother. Appreciate it. Yeah, the recency bias, man, because he looked good against Arman. I agree, because, like, if this fight was before the Arman fight, why would he be minus 310? He wouldn't be. That's the thing. But I also agree with this. Like, Clay did not look, he looked like he's in quicksand sometimes. Met Kenny Ford and Right Hong Randy Couture. That's awesome, dude. Dude, that's sick. Couple legends right there. I don't know if I could. Well, Hall's a legend of grappling, so there you go, 3 legends. Want to play Clay's toughness to lose the decision. Yeah, I mean, it's possible, right? It's possible. I don't know, man. Joaquim Silva's fights don't really go the distance. I don't think this one will either. All right, we'll go to the next fight here, guys. We have Puna Soriano taking on Dustin Stoltzfus. Right now, this is the opening main card fight. That could change. We lost Khalil Roundtree and Azamat Mirzakhanov. Right now, Puna is a huge favorite. Puna Soriano is minus 270 plus 220 and Dustin Stoltzfus. I'll start on this one. I think Puna knocks him out in the first round. I think this fight is one of the easiest fights to call on the card. Puna, huge knockout power. Dustin Stoltzfus, a guy that just does not have a very good chin, in my opinion. A guy that's able to be finished. He's 1-3 in his last 4 with 3 finished losses, 3 losses by stoppage, and I know he has that win over Piper, but it was an injury, really. Like, that's kind of what he's still, I think, getting another chance for. I'm really surprised he's getting another fight. He's 1-4. I don't think he's looked very good at all. So it's almost like a setup for them to keep Soriano around because he's been a little inconsistent too, 3-3. But you look at it, the 3 wins are by knockout, so he's got huge power. The two of the losses are to Brendan Allen and Roman Kopylov. Those are not bad. Those guys are both monsters. And then the one loss to Nick Maximov, I know he got taken down a lot, but he outstruck him. I thought he won that fight based on damage. And I think if that fight was now, like it's almost 2 years later, with the whole damage over control thing, I think he would have won that decision. So, yeah, I'm going with Puna. Marcel, I think he knocks him out. I really like him here. Of the bigger favorites, he's the one I like the most, I think. Puna by knockout. What do you think?
Yeah, Puna by knockout first round, man. I would pick the same. It's kind of like, I don't want to say bad, but it's kind of the odd fight on the main card. Pretty much. I think
they're setting him up for a knockout. I think that's the only
sort
I can imagine, right? Yeah, because like they don't want Dustin Stoltzfus to win, do they? I don't think so.
I don't think either, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's some fights in the prelims that I think could have been a main card. It's the bout order's a little odd on this card. I'll say that. No, he definitely beat Maximov. Like, cause again, he outstruck him. I thought you scored it for him too, right? In that fight,
I had it for him too. Yeah.
Yeah, he should have won based on damage. Puna shouldn't be that big of a favor anyone. I get what you're saying, and because he's inconsistent for sure, but like, I think he eats Dustin Stoltzfus for breakfast here, guys. I really do. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We got Sean Brady taking on Kelvin Gastelum, the rebooking. Glad we're finally getting to see this fight. Hopefully, cross fingers, no one gets injured. Sean Brady minus 130, Kelvin Gastelum plus 110. You go ahead, Marcel. Give me your thoughts.
Sorry, I was distracted. Kelvin against Sean
Brady. Yeah, Sean Brady's minus 130, Gastelum plus 110.
I think, man, many people are counting on Sean Brady after that loss against Bilal Muhammad, but I think Sean Brady is still a pretty good fighter. You know what I mean? I always liked him. He got I mean, he was undefeated, right, before that fight, but many people are taking his hands off him because he got finished by Bilal Muhammad. If you look at Kelvin Gastelum, had a good return last time, after almost 2 years, not fight, I think 1.5 years. Yes, Chris Curtis got the decision win there. Was a close fight. Was fight of the night, I think. Now fighting Sean Brady, going back to 170 for first time in a long time. I wonder if he can make. I hope he can make it. We'll see. Honestly, I still favoring Sean, man, in this fight. I think Sean gets the win. Do he finish him? I don't think so. Calvin is super tough, but I favor Sean getting the decision, man.
It's still my pick too. Like, it hasn't changed, but I mean, the last fight's definitely concerning. There's no doubt. Like, the striking did not look great, and Bilal just destroyed him. But again, Bilal's pretty good, so it's like maybe that's not as bad of a loss as I thought at the time. And then with Kelvin, like, just so inconsistent, man. Like, I don't know what to think about this guy. Right? He barely fights anymore. Fought one time in the last 2.5 years. Like, he barely fights. But again, a guy who's like, you can't really count him out either, right? Like, he's been in there with everyone and tons of experience against high-level competition. I think he could win the fight. I'm gonna stay away from it. I'm gonna stay away. I'm gonna pick Brady by decision. I think the fight goes 3 rounds either way, but I could see Kelvin sneaking it out too, man. I really could, because that last fight is so concerning to me with the strike defense. It bothers me. So Kelvin could, if he brawls here, could outstrike him, I think. But I think Brady will grind him out a little bit against the fence, maybe get a takedown here and there. I think that's kind of what I'm counting on, the 62% takedown defense by Kelvin. I think he can get taken down and controlled a little bit here. So Sean Brady by decision. And that's this guy's banging on, hit the nail on the head as well, because that's all I have it as well, just with the grappling. It's a little over Brady. He might be. We'll see. I mean, he might be. We'll see. Brady by decision. Brady doesn't sub. Kelvin gets knockout. I don't know. Maybe. I think it goes to 3 though. But yeah, I agree with this too. Like the hands were concerning. The striking was not very good with you. Yeah. And then what was the other fight he had? Brady had a fight with Court McGee. That fight too was debut. That was 4 years ago, but like he really got he got a lot of strikes landing against him in that fight, and he did win, but it kind of always concerned me. Like the next 4 fights, he took everyone down and basically beat them on the ground. You know, so like again, to win this fight, you'll have to get him down. Against Beneil, that's a tough fight to get down, right? Like Belal's got great, wrestling. So he went 0-5 in that fight in the takedowns. I think you'll be able to get Kelvin down though. So that's my pick in this one. All right, we'll go to the next fight. We got just 3 fights left. This one, I think, is also an interesting fight, guys. We got Rob Font taking on Deiveson Figueiredo, who's making his debut at the 135-pound division. I think his debut in the division, right? Or did he fight there once?
No, I don't think so. I think he always fought at 125. Yeah, but he missed weight a couple of times.
That's what it is. Yeah, exactly. So it's his official bantamweight debut. Rob Font right now is favored -135, Deiveson +115. What do you think about this one? It's another interesting fight.
You go first. I have really my thoughts on this one. So
you do have your thoughts. Yeah. Jesus Christ. I think this is one of the hardest fights to call on the card, personally. I have no idea, guys. Like at first I was leaning Deiveson, right, a little bit, because like I've always been kind of impressed by this guy. But moving up in weight, fighting a guy like Rob Font is a mainstay in this weight class. And also Rob's got the height advantage, the reach advantage. Obviously Rob, has fought the who's who at 135. I do think Rob's on a decline. I definitely think so. I think that's fair to say, but I still think the guy's a very good striker. We've seen that. His jab is ridiculous. I think he probably wins this fight, but yeah, I mean, because he's such a mainstay at 135. That's why I'm picking him here. But again, I think Deiveson could win. I think it's definitely possible. The guy's a beast, and he especially this fight, if it goes to the ground or if he gets his neck, he could submit him. It's just tough to pick Deiveson because he hasn't looked that great in the last couple of fights, really, for the most part. The second Moreno fight, or the third Moreno fight, I should say, looked good. It's just hard to know, right? He's fought Moreno 4 straight fights. Like I don't know what it's going to look like when he fights someone else. I don't know. I have no idea. What do you think? This one I really have no clue on, guys. I'm thinking Font by decision, I guess, but I don't know. What do you think?
The funny thing is that, like, Corey Santing and showed the blueprint how to beat Rob Font. At the same time, I don't think Deiveson is as good on the ground, to be really honest, and cannot control him like that for 3 rounds, He will have a height disadvantage, a reach disadvantage. That's why I'm leaning Font, But if Font plays stupid, and he lets Deiveson control him on the ground, he can lose the fight, But keep standing. I favor Font. I think Deiveson is better off at 125 than 135. So,
I agree with that.
Yeah, decision Rob Font for me.
Oh, we ended up having the same pick. I'm just not super confident in this one, but watch him just win easily. Just watch that happen. All right, we got 2 fights left, guys. This fight, short notice fight here in the co-main event. We got Bobby Green and Jalen Turner. 3-round fight. Dan Hooker's out of the fight, so the guy who lost to Dan Hooker, it fights Bobby Green instead. Kind of funny how it worked out, but Turner is favored in this fight. -238, Bobby Green +195. Super short notice being this much of a favorite. What do you think? What's your thoughts?
Everything speaks in favor of Turner in this fight, besides the how do you say that, the experience, the short notice and experience. He's longer, he's taller, he's a very longer reach. He's a good stand-up fighter, in my opinion. Grappling is like not bad, but not great, But Bobby Green mostly will probably try to keep the fight standing as well, So, interesting fight. I favor Turner a little bit, man. I'm not 100% sure, but I favor Turner a little bit. Maybe I'm underrating Bobby again here, But I'm picking Turner by decision, not by a finish. But I think it. I'm going with a finish. Actually, no, I'm going with a finish. I'm going with a second round TKO because I think if it goes to decision, Bobby has the chance to still get the win by decision. I'm going with a TKO second round for Turner.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you said, everything points to him to win, right? Like the height, the reach, the age, the ground game probably too. Like I'd imagine, like I know Green actually has a decent ground game, but like if it goes to the ground, I would imagine Turner would just be on top, probably the bigger guy. The short notice bothers me though. You know, the line I don't like either. By the way, who were you going to pick, Green or Hooker? Who were you going to pick in that
one? Yeah, good question actually. Who are going to pick? Probably Hooker, but I wanted Green to win. But probably Hooker.
I was picking Green. So yeah, I mean, I think Green's got a chance to win this one too. I'm not betting on Turner in this fight. Like it's just, I know I've said like pass on a lot of these fights, but like I really think that's the way to go. Like there's just a lot of these fights have weird circumstances, and this one with the short notice, like it's just not a great spot, I don't think. And Green, man, I mean, he's looked great in the last couple fights, right? Like I know it was a 30-second fight, but knocks out Dawson, huge upset, and then Tony Ferguson just absolutely destroyed him in every possible way. But again, you know, before that, Makhachev beat him up good. Dober knocked him out. Gordon was out striking him, I think, before he got knocked out. So with the headbutt. So yeah, I think it's a fight that Green could win, definitely. So I'm going to pass. But my lead is Turner. I don't think the fight goes 3 rounds though. Green's fights have not been going 3 rounds lately. Someone's getting finished in this fight. I think it'll be Green getting. I'm leaning maybe a sub because Turner, can really finish on the ground, but Green hasn't been subbed in a while, so maybe it's going to be a knockout. Either way, it's my pick. Bobby would have booked Hooker. I was picking Green in that fight. Marcel, do you know why Barton was an option to fight Green?
He's not in the UFC.
He's on the roster.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think they had a lot of takers on the card.
Oh, they did?
Actually, it's actually funny, man. There are so many guys who actually said they wanted to fight him and actually wanted to fight him, and then they asked Turner, and Turner turned it down at first, and then he came back.
I guess they think Bobby's beatable, and he's ranked in the top 15, right? So yeah. It's a good fight to take, really. Like,
honestly, if I was the UFC, I would have done RDA because RDA lives in Austin right now, and I think Bobby was cool with it being at 170, for example. So I mean, yeah.
I'm just concerned about Turner making 155 too. I really am.
I'd be surprised. It's 155, by the way, guys. Officially, I checked. It's 155, but. Man, Turner always had difficulties with getting making that 155, and now he has to make 155 on less than 2 weeks' notice.
Yeah,
well, we'll see.
Jared Gordon should have got the call. I would have did the rematch too. I think that would have been great. But again, I think Jared cuts quite a bit of weight. I think Turner does too. I mean, he still took the fight. RD Bobby was the fight I thought they would do, or Macanio. But regardless, we have a good fight here, so. It's hard to really complain about it, Marcel.
No, we're not complaining, but we're just looking at what options were possible. We're not complaining.
There you go. All right, guys, time for the main event. UFC Austin, Arman Tsarukyan against Beneil Dariush. Arman minus 290, Dariush plus 235. Arman opened, I think, like as a smaller favorite, much smaller. Actually, there was dog money on him at one point, and the line just keeps going up and up. So he's almost 3-1. He might close at 3-1. I like Arman in this fight, though, Marcel. I would pick Arman over almost anyone in lightweight right now. And Beneil is a good fight, and actually, it's a different matchup for Arman because Beneil is a good grappler, and we saw if you play MMA math, Arman loses here, right? Because Gamrot beat Arman, and then Beneil beat Gamrot. But I don't know. I mean, Arman with the way he's finishing these fights now, with Dariush being finished 4 times by knockout in the UFC, I still don't trust his chin a little bit, and I think Arman could hurt him and finish him. So I'm going to take Arman Marcel by TKO. I don't think this fight goes to 5. I think Arman gets him out of there and moves into that upper echelon. And then, it'll be interesting to see who he fights next. Will it be, Poirier? Will it be someone like that? Gaethje? Like, I don't know. But I imagine if you beat Dariush, then, that really elevates you to the top of the ladder. So Arman by TKO, I think he wins this fight. What do you think, Ben?
We're going to have this fucking triangle, dude. You're going to have this Gamrot wins against Tsarukyan. Yep. Tsarukyan wins against Dariush, and Dariush wins against Gamrot. Although I still think Tsarukyan actually beat Gamrot, to be really fair, Only fight Tsarukyan lost, in my opinion, is the Makhachev one, which was competitive and won the fight of the night in his debut. Yeah, fun fight. And this is the chance for Arman to get in that top 5 in the division, or close to that top 5. And finally getting those fights, in my opinion, he deserves. And many people put way too much stock into Joaquim Silva tagged him in that fight. People are like, oh, he ain't that good. Listen, guys, people get tagged, and the thing is, like, Arman took the fight.
many people wouldn't have taken that fight because there was too much at stake there. He had everything to lose in that fight. Still came back after getting tagged and finished him with strikes. I'm taking Arman. I'm with Adam. I also think he gets a finish later in the fight. Probably, let's say I think he finishes Dariush by TKO in the 3rd round. And, he wins. Yeah,
that's how I see it too. But I mean, the guys are making some good points. Like the Silva fight was a lot closer than it should have been. Although he still ended up winning by knockout. And then Dariush does, have, like you said, that win over Gamrot guys where he showed good takedown defense. Yeah, but I still think Arman's legit. Like I would pick if you look at Arman, like if you look at the division, I think he matches up really well with some of these guys. But again, we'll see because. At this point, we don't know. We saw him fight Gamrot, and he lost a close decision there. But I am curious to see how he matches up against these elite guys because Dariush is ranked 4th. So you got 4 versus 8, and we both need number 8. It is interesting, though, the low-ranked guy is such a big favorite. That doesn't happen that often, so, that's something interesting. But, yeah, okay, so we're good there. His boxing's not amazing either. But, again, I do think he can get Dariush down eventually and ground and pound him. That's what I'm thinking happens. But we'll see. We will see. Kogan looks to work with Ali. Is that conflict of interest? Probably. I mean, the Arman Islam. Yeah, Ismail. Listen, that first fight, that was his debut, I think, right? And he did well. He did well in that fight. So yeah. All right, we're good there, Marcel. Yeah, I think we're good, man. We previewed it. I think we're good, guys. But that was a fun preview. I'm looking forward to this card. So just to recap the card, man, I think we had every pick the same. Is that right? Holy shit. We had all the same picks. That doesn't happen that often. Never happened. That never happens between us. We always have at least 1 or 2 different. We had one consensus dog. It was Miesha Tate. That was our one consensus underdog. And we're not confident in there. Give me your most confident picks on the card.
My most confident picks on the card. Let me put it in front of me so I can see it. Most confident picks, I would say Punahele Soriano is a confident pick. I say I'm pretty sure Drakkar Klose wins. Rodolfo Bellato is a confident. I would say if I say 2 Punahele Soriano and Rodolfo Bellato, those are my 2 confident picks.
I think most people will end up parlaying those guys.
You probably have Zach Reese as well. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking like Costa, kind of like a little bit. I like him a lot in that fight personally, but Soriano is probably my favorite. And then, like I said, I liked Horth. I thought she's interesting at cheap price, and same with Klose. So we'll see what happens here. About to hit the first joint perfect card. Hey, we'll take it. I've actually been doing pretty good lately. That Brian, who does the compiling on, the guy that Xbox Switch guy. Yeah, like I think last week I was second place. Last 2 weeks I've been second place. So I'll take that, man. For like all the cappers to be like that high up, it's pretty fucking good. So I'll definitely take that. I'll say this though, we did pick a lot of the favorites on this card. There's bound to be an upset or 2 that we didn't see coming. So that's why I said, don't bet on this guy at this price because there will be a landmine here, and you're going to be like, fuck. It happens every week. It happens every week in every sport. In football, basketball, you always do a parlay, and then one of them shits the bed. Shabley, I don't know. The dominance, he might be, but I don't know.
I think so. He is, yeah.
So he's with Usman too, yeah. I was picking Roundtree as an underdog. That was one dog. Actually, we would have been different in that fight because I asked Marcel, and he was going to pick Azamat by knockout, I think, right? Knockout?
Yeah.
I was going to take Roundtree by leg kick knockout. So, yeah, there could be some safe spots, but again, it just scares me sometimes, bro. When it seems too easy, it never is, right? All right, guys. I think we're good. Marcel, we're good here for UFC Austin. Yeah, I think we'll get out of here, guys. We'll be back next week. We'll recap this card and then preview UFC Vegas 83 Song Gutierrez. Anything else you want to say, man, before we get out of here?
No, man, I'm good. Looking forward to the fights this weekend, and should be good, man. Moody Center in Austin, Texas.
Let's do it, baby. All right, guys, have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Good luck with your bets.